Want a talk show? Then it's never been easier with chataboutit.com. Fill out the form on our website and join us at chataboutit.com.
One of the press releases.
Bob, go. Bob, go.
Today on Mr. Media, I'll talk to the handsomest man ever to be a guest here. Sorry, Billy Bob Thornton. Actor, model, and reality TV star Carpenter Rib Hillis. Maybe we'll just do a one-camera show today. Stick around. So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is a Mr. Media interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRmedia.com. Stop by and check it out. There are more than 500 archived celebrity interviews for your listening pleasure. The show is brought to you today by thepartyauthority.us. Planning a wedding, mitzvah, or corporate event? For any and all occasions, call the Party Authority nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs. That's 1-800-342-5357. Where one call does it all. So, where was I before the commercial? Oh yeah, Mr. Media is recorded live from the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Seriously, have you ever seen a prettier man than this guy, Rib Hillis? When I see him, I feel like I'm not holding up my end on the manliness scale. In point of fact, if he's a man, I'm not sure what I am anymore. God, this is depressing. And the guy, who's been a top male model for 18 years, is also an actor. But he made his big move into America's conscious as a carpenter on ABC's Extreme Makeover Home Edition, before landing his own outpost as Carpenter Rib on A&E's Saturday morning home improvement show, $100 Makeover. Rib Hillis, how I hate him. Fortunately, he can't hear me right now. Now, you might actually recognize Rib Hillis from a lot of places, from the soap opera Port Charles to the sitcom 2.5 Men, in which he played one of Charlie Sheen's mother's playthings. But here's a clip from the one that rang true with the women in my family. He played a masseuse in an episode of ABC's Ugly Betty.
Ready for a massage?
You're not a girl.
No, all the women were booked for the evening. I'll set up the table and you can disrobe.
Is this Shih Tzu or are you rolfing me?
I'll get that. You just keep relaxing.
Okay, engineer Rudy, turn on Rib's sound and microphone. I'm done whining. On Saturday, July 10th, Rib Hillis will take a break from all of that to be the celebrity guest host of Acme Saturday Night at the Acme Comedy Theater in Los Angeles. Showtime is 7 p.m. Pacific. Studio tickets are $10 online, $15 at the door. You can order tickets or watch the show live online from anywhere for free at acmecomedy.com. Rib Hillis, welcome to Mr. Media.
Well, thank you very much. I have never had a welcome like that before. I appreciate it. Thank you.
A welcome like what? I don't know what you're talking about. Seriously, Rib, tell me, were you born or chiseled?
I got to thank my parents, I think. It was definitely not something. I started out, I wanted to be a professional football player, and I weighed about 40 pounds more than I do now. I had a 19-inch neck, and all I wanted to do was play football. And then when I stopped playing football, I lost a lot of weight, and I guess apparently hiding underneath it was someone that could make a living taking pictures, because it sort of discovered me when I was in college. But my friends from high school that I grew up with, they're like, are you kidding me? They give me a hard time all the time.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering, yeah, because looking at you, I mean, what do parents feed a guy like you as a young kid? But I mean, this was not you at 16.
No, I had I probably could send you a picture. My neck was 19 inches and I was huge. I weighed about 215 pounds and I played inside linebacker and I just obsessed about football. That's all I wanted to do. And then I lost interest. I decided I was getting hurt more than I was hurting other people. As an inside linebacker, that's not what you want. So, and was going to school in Colorado, and my friend said, "You look like a buddy of mine who models. You should try it." Well, long story short, I ended up on a plane to Milan, Italy, I'm dating myself, but back in 1992. And I got on a plane and went over there, and I've been doing it ever since, and had a lot of success in other fields too, like you mentioned, in TV and film, and now some reality TV, and now with sketch comedy.
That'll be interesting. Now we're going to talk about that in the second half, so hang on to that for a minute. I still want to ask you about this modeling thing. I mean, how do you go from being a guy in college to somebody puts you on a plane to Milan? I mean, there's and how do you believe that that's what you're going to Milan for? It's
I had gone to an agency with my brother because he wanted to do it, and I said, they said, well, what about you? And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't think I want to. I had a picture that I gave them, and they said, all right, they faxed it. This is how long it was. They faxed it to Milan, and the Italians go, ciao, Rib, you send him over. We love him. He's fantastic. So I did. I got on a plane with my passport and a bag full of clothes. I thought I was going to go. I could have traveled around for 7 years with all the stuff that I had with me. But I ended up going over, and it was legit. I spent the summer in Milan, and I did all the runway shows at the time. And then I came back. I finished my senior year of college. During Christmas break, when all my friends went home for Christmas, I went back to Milan and modeled again. And then came back, and I went to Paris after college.
Now, from what I've read about your dad, he seems like a real regular kind of Joe, very handy guy. What did he make of his son as a male model?
I'm the first and only male model in my family, so it was new ground that everyone was breaking. But my parents have been beyond supportive of everything. I mean, I told them. I left. I was going to college in Lehigh, Pennsylvania, or Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Went to Lehigh, and I transferred to the University of Colorado, sight unseen. Talk about making the best decision for the worst reason. I was in love with this girl at the time, and I transferred to her college, and I was playing football at Lehigh. I was one of the few freshmen who actually played, and I left and moved up halfway across the country by myself. And my parents didn't bat an eye. They just kind of said, all right, well, we'll support you. And so they did. They've been really great. They've been fantastic, supported me all the way.
Now, let me ask you this. And again, this goes to looks, and we are going to deal with your carpentry skills and your humor in a few minutes. But I apologize because this goes to looks. But hey, that comes with the territory, I guess, of being a model. But if you were a woman and you were this pretty, other women would hate you. How do guys feel about hanging out with you?
I don't have that many friends. No.
There you go. I rest my case, folks.
It might sound strange, but in my industry, when I travel and I go around to castings and I go into rooms, I feel like the ugly one. I go into rooms where the men in the room are like, each one is more beautiful and handsome and chiseled than the next. So it's a strange world that I do operate in, but I've made some good friendships. Some of my best friends are guys that I used to model with. One of them is still my best friend. We met in Milan back in '92. But otherwise, I have kids now, and I lay pretty low. I have a very domestic lifestyle as well. So,
is the modeling still part of your career, or are you mostly focused on the TV hosting?
I learned a long time ago to not say no to work. So if someone calls me, you ask, if you say, what are you, a model, an actor? I'll say, well, it depends on what I'm doing today. Today I'm, working on in a sketch comedy show, so I would consider that acting, but I do modeling jobs. I just did one last week, and I might have another one in New York next week. So I will put on any hat. I'm a carpenter. I figure, it doesn't matter as long as you do a good job and you're true to yourself. So I will still model. I'll model as long as I have to, I suppose, or can.
Well, I mentioned that you've done the modeling part for 18 years, and don't look any worse for the wear. We don't find a lot of women who are modeling after 18 years. It just seems to be, one of those male-female things that just sort of happens.
Are you kidding me? I'm working more now. It's awesome. I went through a period I went through a dry period in my in my late 20s where people, I wasn't young enough to be the young guy, and I wasn't old enough to be the old guy. So now it's coming back into it. So
It's a weird thing with men. I mean, I look at a guy like George Clooney, who, he'd been in the public eye over the last 20 years, and he was not. I don't think he was considered that handsome when he started his career, but now, of course, he's in film. I mean, he's the guy that everybody thinks of. And,
I was just thinking about him the other day. I was thinking exactly that. It's funny because I was thinking exactly that. He has really come into his own as like an iconically handsome man. I know it. I watched, I guess, Clark Gable. I watched it and I was like, George Clooney, he's come in his own as that guy who's that really handsome, charismatic, extremely talented. But yeah, earlier in his career, it took a while to find that. So I'm looking for some longevity.
Well, and I hear stuff like that, and I figure there's still hope for me. I could be the bald-headed George Clooney one day. So there's still hope.
There's a place for everyone in Hollywood.
All right, let's take a quick break. This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media radio interview with actor, model, and reality TV show host and star Rib Hillis, who you can see on A&E's $100 Makeover. We'll be right back.
Hey, did you know that you can listen to the latest Mr. Media on your phone with the Stitcher app? Stitcher is smart radio for your smartphone. Mr. Media is on demand and on the go with Stitcher. Download Stitcher for your phone today. Get the free download at Stitcher.com. That's STITCHER.com.
And now a weather update. Winds out of the south-southeast at 9 miles an hour.
Citizens of America, this is a message from feedthepig.org. Do not be alarmed. We are here to help you save yourself. According to public records, Americans spent more money than they earned in 2005. This is the first negative savings rate in the U.S. since the Great Depression. America, we must change our behavior. We need to stop spending every dime we earn and start feeding the pig. We must start putting away a piece of our paycheck. On the 1st and the 15th, we must pay ourselves before we pay anyone or anything. We must make a budget. And yes, even consider cutting up a credit card. And we must tell a friend to do the same. America, to start moving in the right direction, we must start a movement. Join us at feedthepig.org. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Log on to feedthepig.org today.
And for more traffic updates, brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Do you know what that is? That's the sound of your classmate forwarding a picture from your profile to everyone he knows. A college student downloading all your pictures to his hard drive. A teacher wondering what you were thinking. Some guys posting graphic comments about your body and what they do with it. Your neighbor printing out your latest pictures for his collection. A man spending some alone time with your picture while no one else is around. And worst of all, your dad seeing a photo of you topless, all because of the time you posted those pictures on your profile. Anything you post online, anyone can see. Family, friends, and even not-so-friendly people. So think before you post. For more information, visit www.cybertipline.com.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
Dateline, 1950. The United States defeats England in the World Cup. 1994. The World Cup is played for the first time on American soil. 1996. Major League Soccer starts a new era of pro soccer in the U.S.
Don't you wish there was somewhere to talk about it? Every Thursday night at 9 Eastern, soccer fans finally have their voice. National Soccer Radio. Hosted by J.D. Smith and energized by chataboutit.com. Live every Thursday night at 9 Eastern. It's National Soccer Radio.
All right, this is Bob Andelman, and you are listening to the Mr. Media radio interview with actor, model, and reality TV star and host Rib Hillis, who you can see on A&E's $100 Makeover every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Rib, tell us a little bit about your training and background in carpentry.
Well, it's been lifelong. When I was a little boy, my dad is the guy, and there might be some of you out there listening, or you might know somebody like this. He's the guy that would re-roof his house rather than pay someone to do it, you know? He's the one who cut down the 500-year-old oak tree and damn near broke the house and killed himself doing it, rather than pay someone. I think it was seriously like $100. So I always was watching my father work on things, and consequently, there was a lot of profanity involved with carpentry that I wasn't aware of. I was like, really? You need to swear that much, bro? But and you can't do that on TV. I've found so. But I would build things with my dad. I had a little teeny hammer and nail set, and then when I got older, I went to college. I went to University of Colorado in Boulder, and I did before I started my modeling career, I got involved in construction. I did framing and demolition during the summers, and so then when I went off to Europe and started modeling, I came back and got into acting. Now actors are out of work more than they're in work, except for maybe George Clooney. Actually, no, everyone, because unless you're working, over 180 days a year, you're out of work more than in work. So actors are out of work more than in work. So I had to find some things to do. So I had a handyman business, and I put my carpentry skills to work, and actually paid my mortgage and fed my kids doing that a couple of months.
And so, how did all that get you to Extreme Makeover Home Edition on ABC?
That's a good question, because I came out here and I'm like, I'm an actor and I'll do modeling jobs, but I never did any reality TV. Well, I had a new wife, and we had new kids on the way, and there was a TV show asking for, do you want to try this? It was called Model Citizen. It was on the PAX network, and the premise was 5 models doing charity work around the country. In fact, one of the guys, Kellen, is in the Twilight series. He's Kellen, I forget his last name, but he did the show. I don't think I was on the same episode as him, but I know that he went on. So I did one episode, and all of a sudden I went from being strictly an actor model to doing reality TV, and Extreme Makeover was looking for a designer a little less than a year later, and they'd heard about me from the PAX show, and I went in there and auditioned, and I must have done something right, because I ended up on the show for 2 years.
Well, and that, of course, led to the show that you're on now, the A&E's $100 Makeover, which is sponsored by Big Lots. And on the face of it, it sounds like a cheap show, or as opposed to a show on the cheap. But having watched it, I mean, the things that you and your co-host do are actually pretty clever and pretty applicable to most
I would
anybody.
say my phrase is it's inexpensive but not cheap. You know what I mean? I mean, when we finish, yes, it stays under $100, but yeah, I was very impressed. Believe me, coming from Extreme Makeover, where we demolish a house and build a new one in 5 days, to $100 Makeover, it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. And I asked like everyone else, how are you going to do this? But Leslie Zagretti and Robbie Laughlin are amazing, and we pull it together. It's no joke though. I literally walk around the people's homes with the camera following me and scrounge for stuff to build stuff out of. And I think the last one, there was one down in San Diego with little girls, and I built a loft bed for them because they had no room on the floor. And it transformed the rooms. And I don't think I used any lumber, because everything was built into the house, was right there. I used the dressers, and I think it's very timely, because not everyone can knock down their whole house and rebuild it in 5 days, but just about anyone can find $100 for a room.
I thought I have to say, I mean, I thought it was very clever when I discovered the show and watched the episodes. I thought, in this day and age, that's what a lot of people need. They need that kind of inspiration. So I thought that was very clever. A
big part of it too is just getting a new set of eyes, seeing it in a different light, and all of a sudden you go, I never thought of putting the bed there or doing this. And then also in life, we all build, don't come by my house. I'll tell you right now, my house could use a $100 makeover. I'm so busy and with my kids, and so we come into these homes and help the people out, and we devote 100% of our attention for 2 days to their house, so it makes a big difference.
It's very cool. Well, of course, we have to ask you about hosting Acme Saturday Night this Saturday, July 10th, in Los Angeles, live. And folks, you can watch it. If you can't make it to LA, you can watch it live online at acmecomedy.com. Have you done this type of hosting before, and live theater at that?
I have not, and I tell you, I am terrified and excited. It's unbelievable. When I was contacted and asked if I wanted to do this, I think it came out of my mouth before I realized what I was saying, but I'm so excited. We did a read-through of some of the sketches, and we picked the ones that we're going to choose, and I found myself laughing out loud. And we just shot something today. We shoot these video clips, today, and we did a clip today called "The Most Inappropriate Man in the World," a little spoof on the most interesting man in the world. And I played the most inappropriate man in the world. It's too bad you can't see me because I have a really inappropriate mustache right now. That's fantastic. So if you tune in on Saturday night, you'll be able to see my inappropriate mustache. It was very funny skit. Had me running down the street in a thong, in a turquoise thong.
Oh, God. Should Borat be frightened?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it was very much like that. It's inappropriate. Whatever an inappropriate man would do, that's what I did today. It was a lot of fun, though. The writers here and the other players are amazing. And so I'm actually planning to come tomorrow night to watch the improv, which is a whole nother world. Like sketch comedy, you know what you're going to say, you kind of have an outline. It's scripted. Improv is just, you're up there without a net, without any idea where it's going. And that, as an actor, that is something that is very appealing. But also a lot of the stuff I did on $100 Makeover and did an Extreme Makeover, it's all improv. You don't know where it's going. There's no script. So I had more training than I think I realized.
Well, of course, you were referring to Friday night, which is Hollywood Dream Roll night,
yes.
Improv at Acme Comedy. We'll throw in the plug for that. I like to ask, because we get a lot of the celebrities who are guest hosting at Acme, if there are any lines that you could offer us from sketches that you could give us kind of out of context that we might find interesting.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize this when she was alive, but your mom's kind of doable.
Oh, man. Okay, top out of context line ever.
Chalk that up to the most inappropriate man in the world.
Oh,
that's a sketch that my brother and I talk on the phone constantly, and he coined me the most inappropriate man in the world. It's because just kind of making fun of the most interesting man in the world, and so we have fun with it and joke around about what would the most inappropriate man in the world do. So when I got contacted by Acme, and I was talking to them, they said, well, I said, here's an idea I have, and the writers here came up with some great skits and some great things that the most inappropriate man in the world would do, making fun of, which I think is the most genius ad campaign ever, the Dos Equis ad. That is genius, but it's, we're kind of a little twist on it, so.
Well, folks, listen, you can catch Rib Hillis as co-host of A&E's $100 Makeover every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., and you can get more complete schedule details at aetv.com. And on Saturday, July 10th, Rib will be the celebrity guest host of Acme Saturday Night at the Acme Comedy Theater in Los Angeles. Showtime is 7 p.m. Pacific. Studio tickets are $10 online, $15 at the door. You can order tickets or watch the show live online for free at acmecomedy.com. And to learn more about Rib Hillis, go to Rib Hillis, that's RibHillis.com. That's where you'll make connections to Rib's Twitter, Facebook, and other social media pages. Rib Hillis, thanks so much for joining us and bringing your beautifulness to Mr. Media today.
Well, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care. And folks, of course, for more original interviews with your favorite reality TV people, surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes. Thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media. Come back real soon, and thanks for listening.
What are you missing on chataboutit.com? It's time to voice your opinion. It's 877-242-8212. And let's chat.
My name is Mary Crafts, and this is how I live United. I've spent the last 24 years running a local catering company, but I felt a huge part of our community was being underserved. So what I do with United Way here in my town is advocate for kids and families that are invisible. I stand up for them and help them grow strong. I volunteer with a program where we go into people's homes and assess mother and infant well-being and help bring change and opportunity into their lives. As a caterer, I make sure people are happy and well-fed. As a United Way advocate, I make sure people, especially kids, have a chance to thrive and succeed. One of these mothers once said to me, "Mary, you are making a difference, you know." And I thought, wow, that's worth everything. My name is Mary Crafts, and I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org.